absolute value piecewise functions, quiz 2 review. Okay, first question here. What we want to do is we're given that h of 17. So they're giving us the function h of 17. In other words, what we're going to do is these are letter t's. So when it say t is equal to 17. So h of t, and then from there we say t is equal to 17. Well, the very first one we can use because this t is equal to 17. This t's got equal to 19. If you have t is equal to 19, then you can use this expression here. If you have t is not equal to 17 or 19, you would use this expression here. But since we have t is equal to 17, we're going to use this expression here. Now, this top expression here, what you have is you have a square root sign, and then you have a letter t in there. Well, we're going to have our square root sign here. We're going to have our 17, but we're going to place this t with another 17. Now, instead of multiplying 17 times 17, which I believe would be 289, and take the square root of 289, what you can do is you can already solve it down from here because you have two terms in here that are the same. So you have two numbers that are the same, or they're both 17, and that's the whole thing of a square root. Square root, you're looking for like numbers. As long as you have like numbers, you can write that number one time on the outside. So you already achieved that. So you have 17 times 17, so you have a matching pair. So a square root works off of matching pairs. So my answer would be 17. So h of 17 would equal the value of 17. Okay, next question here. We have a graph here, and let's go ahead and draw in our segments here. So we're going to go from -9 to -3. Now, right after the -9, we see a solid right there. So remember, we talked about this before. If you have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, your point is solid. It's included in the line. If you just have a less than and a greater than and that's no sign underneath it, it's going to be an open circle. So in this case here, there's nothing underneath, nothing in front of the -3, so it stays as an open circle. So this goes from -9 to -3, but it doesn't include the -3. Now let's draw this next segment here, and this goes from -3 to +8. This time the -3 is solid because we see solid, and we see solid with the 8, so the 8 is included as well. So now let's look at the x, because remember, if you get confused, this is referring to the x here. So you want to look at the x axis. So you want to take these numbers here. Actually, you want to take these segments you see on the graphs here and work your way down to the actual x-axis. So this one right here is right after, or right in front of the -8. That would be actually a -9. And this is between -4 and -2. That would be -3. And this is also solid. This is also open. So that's what we wanted. So we are going from -9 to -3. This one is going from -3 and to 8. Because we bring this down, this is 8, we bring this up, this is -3. We want them both to be solid, and they're both solid. So this would be matches up with the -3, and this matches up with an 8. So it looks like 8 would be our answer. So let's take a look at the next one. This is going from a -9 to a -3, so no change there. However, the problem is here. Yes, it is at a -3. And yes, we have both solid dots, but if you notice that this stops at 6, where it should be stopping at 8. So that's the problem with B. So A would be our choice. Okay, let's take a look at our next question. So here we got three segments at three different levels. So this one is at level 7, because if you notice that on the y-axis, that's at level 7. Now we will look at the x-axis here. This would start at 5 and this would go to 9, but the 5 is not included because it's an open circle. However, the 9 is included. This is at level -5. This starts at 2 and the 2 is included, but the 5 is not included because you have an open circle. This would be level -6. If we match this with the x, this starts at -9 and this travels to +2. The -9 is contained, the +2 is not, because it's not a solid there. Only thing solid. So solid points contain the numbers, where the open circles do not contain the numbers. They tell you where it starts, but it just says that, you know, hey, this 5 is not included, this 5 is not included, this 2 is not included. So now let's look at our table and notice that these numbers here, the -6, -5, and 7, are mentioned here. Remember, the undefined, you use that if the point doesn't work. If it doesn't fall within, if the point doesn't work for the -6, the -5, and the 7. So now you got 4.999. So you want to be inside of actually 5, because you can think of the 4.9999 as like $4.99. It would not be more than $5. It's actually less than $5. So that would fall just inside of this 5, and that's at level -5. So let's put this at -5. Now this one is exactly 5. So exactly 5. Well, this is not exactly 5 because it's an open circle. This is not exactly 5 because it's not an open circle. So 5 is not included with any of these. So 5 does not work for any of them because they're open circles. So that would become undefined. Now we have 5 point, and we got several zeros there and then a 1. So we know we just want to go slightly past 5 to the right. Well, this stops right here at 5, so that's no good. This doesn't even reach a 5. This does have a 5 in it, and it actually goes to 9. So that 5 point, and those several zeros and that 1 would be after the 5, and it would be at level 7. Next point is 9. So we have a +9 here. Well, +9 is here. It is solid, so it is contained on the 7. So 9 is contained on the 7 here. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. So we have f of 2. So our function is f. This is our function name is f. And the number that we're working with is 2. And now, since the letters here that we see for the variables are t, we're going to say that t is equal to 2. So we want something that gives us t equal to 2. So one of these expressions we're going to be able to enter. Now, for us to enter this expression here, it's got to be exactly 8. So t must be exactly 8. T is 2, doesn't work. T's got to be exactly 10 here. T is 2, doesn't work. Now, do you see this sign here? This is an equal sign. So you have like an equal sign here. So if they give you an equal sign and then a slash through it, what that means is not equal. So in other words, you can use this as long as the t is not 8 or 10. So the t can be any other number, but it can't be 8 or 10. So that's the equation we're going to use. So we're going to say t squared minus 3t plus 2. Now wherever there's a t, the t is going to become a 2. So we're going to say 2 to the second minus 3 times 2 plus 2. Order of operations, we take care of our exponent first. So 2 squared would be 4. Now we can multiply. A -3 times +2 is a -6 plus 2. Order of operations, we could say subtraction, addition on the same level, so we must take 4 minus 6. So 4 minus 6 is a -2 plus 2, which would be 0. So what we conclude is that f of 2 is equal to 0. So f of 2 would have an answer of 0. Okay, so right here we're again at three different levels here. So let's take a look at this segment here. This segment is at level 2. It starts at -9 and it ends at -5. Notice the -9 is open, so the -9 is not included. The -5 is a solid, so it is included. At this level here, this is -1. This one would actually start at 0 and this would end at 9. The 0, however, is included and the 9 is not. So the 9 is actually open. So this 9 is open where this 0 is solid, so that 0 is included. Okay, this is -9. So this goes from -5 to 0, but the 0 is not included. And actually the -5 is not included either. So it just takes us from -5 to 0. They're both open. The -5 and the 0 is not included. Here the 0 is included where the 9 is not included. Here the -9 is not included, but yet the -5 is included. So these are our levels: 2, -1, and -9. So our first number is -0.00001. So right here, we're going to take a look at what we have here. So we want to be actually to the left of 0. See, anything to the right of 0 would be positive. Anything to the left of 0 would be negative. So that number would fall just inside of this 0 here. So that puts me at level -9. Okay, next one we have G is 0. So we want it to be exactly 0. We know that the 0 is not included here, so we can't use the -9. However, the 0 here is solid, so that's at level -1. Next point is a decimal and then a bunch of zeros and then a 1. And again, this is positive, so we want to go to the right of 0. So that would be right here. So we want to be just to the right of 0, so that would be at level -1. Next number is 9. So here's our 9 here, our positive 9, because it is a positive 9, not a -9. We see that is an open circle, so it's not containing the 9. So if it doesn't contain it and it's not found in any of the segments, you must choose undefined.